Are you seeing your dream home disappear? Because I'm going to be telling you in this exact video on why homes are delisting and coming off the market instead of doing price cuts. Because in this video, I'm going to be showing you where the Arkansas market is currently heading to so that you could be in the best possible position, whether you're a buyer or a seller. What's going on, guys? This is Cody, realtor with eXp Realty. I help sellers get the most amount of money and help buyers find the next best deal. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more valuable content just like this. Be sure to check out all my social medias if you want more valuable content. Without further ado, guys, let's waste no more time. Let's jump right into the video. So I'll start off with number one. What does withdrawal or delisting even mean? It's pretty simple for the people who don't really know. When a seller takes their home off the market, and people see it that it's not still for sale anymore, which means buyers either they get scared because it's not on the market anymore, it's not for sale, especially if there's their dream home. But ultimately it means that the seller normally either gave up on selling their home or just taking it off the market just temporarily. And on top of that, across the US alone, it's already about 38% of listings going off the market already. And ultimately in Arkansas, there's already about 8 to 11% already coming off the market already. And there is a big issue on why people are taking it off the market rather than do price cuts, which I'm going to explain in this video, because the last part, guys, is the most important one, especially if you're a seller, because if you want to demand the most amount of money, you need to do this at the very end of the video. So ultimately, number one, what does this mean for home prices? Also mean that a lot of sellers are normally taking their home off the market because they are waiting, because they think that the interest rates play a big part, which are currently right now, as I'm recording this video, the interest rates are still slowly coming down. And on top of that, we have the government shutdown that a lot of people think that is going to really affect the market. It's not necessarily going to affect the market, especially on the mortgage side, especially if you're a buyer. The market is still going to keep going. It's just a lot of other things that's going to be happening, but it's not necessarily going to affect the real estate market. But number two, there's a lot of listings that are got a lot of days on the market. And there's a reason why listings are sitting on the market for a very long time. And like I said, at the very end, I'm going to explain why. But this is what it means when sellers, for prices. And the number one thing that stops this is because of pricing. It's not necessarily because of the interest rates. Interest rates are slowly coming down. We are going into the fall market, meaning that, there's going to be a lot less competition, which is ultimately good news for the seller. But ultimately, it means that a lot of buyers are slowly creeping out. And, when there's less competition and buyers are slowly creeping out, that means you can demand a lot more for the home. But there is a certain strategy that I'm going to get to, like I said, at the very end of the video. So stay tuned. But ultimately, what does this mean for a possible outcome? Price correction delay. Now, this is another scenario that a lot of sellers get mixed up, especially with their agent. A lot of sellers want to start very high. Like I said in previous videos, that's not a bad strategy, but it's not an okay strategy, especially if you want an immediate offer, especially if you want to sell pretty quickly in under 30 days. There's a reason why homes are coming off the market, is because one, people don't want to they don't want to cut their prices. And there's a lot of, and it takes a skill to talk to a seller to automatically basically list at a price that a realtor will basically suggest them. And a bunch of agents are kind of yes agents. They won't tell them like, hey, we need to sell at this price. This is what's going to sell a home. Rather than agents will be like, hey, let's list it there, but if we don't get anything within 30 days, which is already a long time, especially for a buyer's agent to come see that and they're going to get a lowball offer, that's already a bad news. Top of that, it can stay where it's at. So ultimately, if you are a motivated seller who needs to get either to another state or ultimately just want to get out of multiple mortgages, and then ultimately you need to sell, but it just needs to make financial sense, be sure to contact me down in the description below. Let me go over a game plan on how you can still demand the most amount of money in this current market that we're in, and ultimately get an offer that makes sense to you financially. But ultimately, that's what it means for prices. But ultimately, it also means something further. It means that a lot of sellers are already just deciding that they're just going to take it off the market. They're already going to, like I said earlier, they're going to wait because they don't want to increase the days on market. But when their days are increased, the days on the market, is because either one, the agent did do a good job on pricing it to sell the first time, and two, when you do a lot of price drops, ultimately like 4 or 5 price drops, that already makes the house not look good, and you're already going to expect a lowball offer. So that's what it means for sellers, and especially that's another reason why they were taken off the market. But what does that mean for a buyer? So number one, buyers should not assume that every deal is dead. Because you see a house that's now on the market, that doesn't mean that the seller doesn't want to take an offer. Right now, they just believe in their mind it's just not a good market. Right now, they think that nobody's interested in their home. They may be, in the mindset of, oh, I didn't get any offers, I didn't get any showings. It's just, I'm going to wait till the springtime. And every seller is going to think like that, especially as a seller. You think that the spring market is going to be the best time to sell. Why? Yeah, that may be true, but there's going to be a lot more competition, and you may be stuck in the same loop over and over again. Another thing is that you want to negotiate gently. You don't want to piss off any other sellers, especially if you're an investor. You're trying to look for a deal. You're not gonna really win much in this market, especially if you want to go for more retail, more listings. Now, that doesn't mean that you can find a seller who is willing to negotiate pretty low, because there are some sellers out there who will really do that. But ultimately, if you're a buyer, you still want to navigate through this market. You want to negotiate not very aggressively, but gently, into a point where sellers are either going to take it off the market, or just ultimately they will cut you a deal. And lastly, you want to be ready with financing. I always say get pre-approved, because in this market, a lot of sellers are not here to waste time. They're not here to waste time. And if they immediately find out that you're not even pre-approved first, or at least you don't have a pre-approval letter, they are quick to cut you off. I'm telling you guys, I've seen it. And ultimately, they're just not dealing with it, especially in this market, especially when sellers are on edge on taking their listing off the market. If they see that you don't got your shit together, they will be so quick to just drop you off. Now, lastly, what does this mean for a seller? This is the big caveat. This is what you stay to the end for. Ultimately, number one, which is super important, price it from the start. Guys, especially me, for my clients, I always tell my clients, hey, this is where you need to be the price to sell. Now, I did say in my other videos, I do give my sellers sometimes the benefit of the doubt of, giving them 2 to 3 weeks to see what action did they get with all my marketing strategies, all that stuff. And if you don't get a lot of showings, you don't get offers, then you're going to need to go back where I suggest that you should start at. Ultimately, this is the biggest reason why sellers are not getting what they're looking for. It's because they're not pricing the sale. A bunch of agents are going to, yes, agents, they're going to tell them like, hey, we can get this number. And especially if an agent's not really doing their comps right, they're not really looking into the area, they're not looking at what's actually selling. That is the biggest mistake. That's why a lot of sellers are taking it off the market. That's why a lot of sellers are necessarily losing, because some agents are not telling them the truth. And a lot of sellers respect the truth. They're going to need that, especially if they're going to sell. Ultimately, number two, be careful about withdrawing pretty soon. Like I said, this is going back to the buyer aspect. A lot of buyers may not want to pull that trigger yet, is because, for one, most of the buyers are going to look for deals anyway. But two, on top of that, you never know who's looking at your house. Especially if you're looking to take it off the market within the first 30 days. That's really no sense, because the average days on market is close to 30 to 45 days, depending on where you live at, whether you're in Bryant, Benton, North Little Rock, it doesn't matter. The days on market are steady adding up. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get an offer. As long as you're priced to sale, you're going to get an offer. But lastly, number three, improve your marketing. It's going to take more than just putting your home on the MLS and putting your for sale sign out. It's going to take an aggressive agent like myself to go out there and pursue the buyers, actively, aggressively, and market the property, actively, aggressively negotiate. That way you don't take a lowball offer. And on top of that, you want to price to sell. Two things I always tell my clients, especially when it comes to home buying: pricing and pictures. Everything else is getting you an offer as soon as possible. But ultimately, these are the three things that you should do as a seller to still win in this market. With the interest rates continuing to lower, we may not be getting big interest rate cuts, but they're getting lowered, and a bunch of buyers are slowly starting to creep out. And if you still want to win this market, this is the most important thing from day one. And that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video about what's going on in the Arkansas market, how you can still win, and what it means for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more valuable content like this. And like I said over and over again, if you need an aggressive buyer or seller's agent to help you navigate through this market, be sure to contact me down in the description below. Without further ado, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Let's get it.